Scanning area. Signal detected. As the UTA fleet arrived at each world, they set up restricted trade access to control the consumption of the precious resource res. It took centuries to establish a planetary infrastructure on each world, leaving some isolated for years on end. As the UTA arrived at these later worlds, they were met with hostility and resentment. Each world they encountered grew more hostile than the last. A galactic resistance force fought against UTA control, destroying ships and hacking warp gates. Seeing the outer worlds as undesirable and res deficient, the UTA simply put minimal effort into controlling them. Segregated from the core worlds, the pandemics thinned the outer world population. The core worlds, on the other hand, were guarded by multiple layers of heavy security, which proved to be invaluable in slowing the corruption of the Dark Entity. With such strict border control, the UTA was able to hinder the Dark infection, while infected worlds were nuked into oblivion. While the lockdown wars began as a pacification movement, it became a necessary quarantine to ensure the survival of the human race. Added to cargo hold. Map updated. Area exhausted. Scanning area. Jameson is the prime dictionary definition example of everything wrong with humanity. He may even be the worst living thing to congeal into a physical body. His intelligence rivals that of a tapeworm. It is a scientific miracle he even has the brain capacity to stand erect, let alone form a complete or even partial sentence. His hygiene is questionable. His mother has ugly shoes. Jameson is a poo-poo face jerk. Alert! 137% chance of file tampering detected. Signal detected. Awareness expanded.
Now that we're making a name for ourselves, for a second time, we should be mindful of our reputation. Everyone is on a razor's edge out here, and bad rumors can spread faster than the infection itself.
Very little is known about the political or behavioral inner workings of the Bandit faction. They survive solely on the theft of other ships, building their infrastructure on scrap and stolen goods. Their spoils are often hoarded at bandit bases in an attempt to entice unwise travelers. While bandits lack the expertise to develop any legitimate army, their relentless and suicidal nature make them a terror of the void. While most simply avoid them at all costs, a lone bandit poses little threat. Their substandard ships make them ideal targets for rookie captains in training.
Map updated.
Extracted.
Awareness expanded.
Countless efforts have been made to ascertain the surname of Mackenzie, as well as his mysterious mental affliction. Due to his limited ability to articulate himself, most of the crew consider him to be the ship's pet, rather than a human being. He often causes mischief, eating and drinking just about anything not bolted to the hull. Despite his antics, he obsesses over the mothership's operating condition, making him an ideal caretaker for ship systems.
Signal detected.
Keep in mind that the more we push the res drive, the more res we toss out the window. Maybe ease up a little bit. It would be wise if we left some gas in the tank for when we really need to get out of a bad jam.
Sure, it's nice to be desired, but being wanted dead or alive isn't exactly what I had in mind. Infuriating folks with money can be a health hazard. They won't think twice about parting with their stacks in exchange for our severed heads. Now, of course, this is a door that can swing both ways. If we need a job done and have the funds to afford it, we can tag someone else with a bounty. You'd be surprised what folks will do for a little scrap.
Mother Nature is a cruel and merciless meat grinder, and the infinite void does not differ. Unless you want someone drinking their Hefeweizen out of your skull, you should leave your fluffy comfort zone and learn as much about this horrific existence as possible. I have prepared a series of extracurricular activities I demand you complete with haste. If the gift of knowledge, experience, and adaptability are not enough for you, there will also be candy. In theory, you can bend wavelengths of light to create an effective cloaking field. This theory is utterly moronic. In practice, I have devised a method to instead bend darkness. How can I be the only one that has come to this determination?
Scanning area. Map updated.
The Janeframe 9000 Integrated Self-Aware Hyper-Intelligent Operating System, ME, is a specialized back-end designed exclusively for busy space pirates on the go. While the standard weapon and defensive subsystems remain mostly unchanged from last iteration, I now have dedicated ports for both a cappuccino machine and elderly assistance railings for escalators. My onboard power supply uses 1.21 gigawatts less energy, resulting in an 80% drop in combustion-related incidents.
Awareness expanded. Scanning area. Area exhausted. Signal detected.
Several mining outposts were abandoned by the UTA during the Dark Infection. Without adequate protection, many bases were raided and destroyed, while others learned to defend themselves. The few bases that were able to maintain a supply of res cooperated to keep it and defend it from other factions.
Map updated. Added to cargo. Signal detected.
Carl, stop messing around with the archives. Seriously, I'm going to snap that bloody neck of yours like a wafer if I see your handiwork in here again. Don't push me, Pencil Neck.
Resource acquired. Game saved.
Map updated.
Added to cargo hold.
Scanning area.
Res, or resin, is slang for element 126, which was discovered during the colonization of the Alpha Centauri system. It phases in and out of the space-time continuum, making it difficult to detect. Its discovery accounted for the missing gravitational forces we previously dismissed as dark matter. Res tends to drift through solid matter, randomly coming into phase and adhering to corporeal particles. It's only during this state modern technology can observe its effects.
Awareness expanded. Area exhausted. Scanning area. Extracted. Map updated.
Resource acquired.
Awareness expanded.
Added to cargo hold. Resource acquired. Extracted. The Titan Gates were created late during the Lockdown Wars. Their intended function was to further segregate the inner and outer worlds as an unbreakable gate. Instead of using an encrypted key code, Titan Gates had absolutely no power source, requiring it to be spooled up manually by an energy beam transfer. The beam itself was encoded to ensure that even if one was to amass the astronomical power needed, it would still disallow access. For a time, the Titan Gates were successful until Carl Memford devised a way to use the Clockwork's deflector array as an accessor, resulting in the now famous breach incident.
Area exhausted. Signal detected.
Resource acquired. After the UTA lost control over the core worlds, the Void Militia stepped in to maintain order of the general population of these orphaned planets. For a time, they honored their visions of peace, but as res supplies ran out, they too turned to salvage and mercenary work to survive. They look at other factions as a hindrance to the peace process, and ultimately aim to conquer them with superior military might.
Scanning area.
I decided to let a chimp from the lab select the last few data allocations instead of you. We have reached the scientific limit of banana peeling and fecal bombardment technology. We shall now resume normal allocation procedure.
Awareness expanded.
The Clockwork was a massive mothership, originally conceived by Don Gibson to defy the Lockdown Wars. It served as home for thousands of desperate people, as it made its long journey to the galactic core. When Don eventually betrayed the crew to the Dark Entity, Don, the Entity, and the Clockwork itself became fused into a single mass. The surviving crew spent nearly 5 years rebuilding a new Clockwork, which was later used to destroy the original ship harboring the Dark Entity. The Clockwork, too, was unfortunately short-lived. Shortly after the collapse of the Gate Network, the UTA confiscated the ship, seeing it as theirs, given it was constructed mostly of UTA wreckage. It was later dismantled for scrap.
Signal detected.
Game saved.
Extracted. Map updated.
After the warp gate collapse, many scientific minds stepped forward to resolve the galactic transportation crisis. While the res drive became the primary method for travel, a second warp gate network was also under heavy construction. These new warp gates were smaller and more efficient, being derived from the alien technology discovered at the galaxy core. Trillions of these new warp gates were deployed using a gateless warp slipstream device, scattering them randomly across the galaxy. It wasn't until the network was nearly completed did their critical flaw become apparent. The quantum-entangled compounds of the new gates began to interfere with each other, even across the span of light years. The more gates, the more the problem compounded itself. This interference caused the warp jumps to exit randomly within a short distance of the gate's location, rendering the gates useless for practical use. The company abandoned the new gate project, leaving the failed gates still somewhat active. The slipstream device, however, became the prototype for the res drive all starships use today. One advantage the failed gates retain, even now, is the speed in which the warp field can be instantiated. Ships have been known to utilize the random slipstream jumps as a method to flee attacking ships, rather than risk spooling up the res drive.
Signal detected. Awareness expanded.
Under heavy gamma-ray bombardment, the natural phasing process of res is slowed, allowing it to be refined and stabilized. Refined res has countless applications. It can be easily transmuted into other forms of matter, making it the dough-like material of the universe. It can also be rendered into an energy-producing state, often used for warp fuel. Res also happens to make a nice tea, despite its nightmarish origins. Astonishingly, the substance has been in a rapid state of change after its initial discovery. The oscillating multi-phase frequency of res has more than tripled in the last decade, allowing it to remain in its corporeal state for longer periods. While being nearly impossible to detect in early history, it can now be seen with the naked eye in many cases.
Mindlessly throwing a fistful of hot metal at our opponents will only get us so far. Maybe if we take our time and call our shots, we can make the most of our bullets and photons. Our enemies sure won't shy away from kicking us in our tender spots.
Map updated.
When the outbreak first began, few took it seriously. Rumors of ships covered in twisted flesh and wire grew more distorted as they passed from one storyteller to another. The UTA, being preoccupied with the lockdown wars, ignored reports of yet another pandemic. By the time it was serious enough to warrant attention, quarantine was impossible. With extermination still being a valid option, the UTA began reinforcing the warp gates leading to infected regions. Regardless of signs of infection, outgoing ships were simply destroyed from a distance. Within months, the UTA lost nearly 100 trade ships, destroyed by the marshals that guarded the quarantine gates. As the odd ship was able to sneak past, the UTA had to continuously step back its front line. Out of desperation, the entire inner world galactic quadrant was quarantined from the outer worlds through the use of high-security Titan gates. The UTA continued to fight a bloody and secret war with the infection for nearly 200 years. It was not until after the entire confrontation did the outer worlds become aware such a war had even occurred.
Area exhausted. Scanning area.
Res baffled the scientific community with its transmutation of multi-phase properties. Some believed it to be a defensive response to mass harvesting. The truth, however, is far more sinister. Res exists solely to entice intelligent life forms capable of mastering its properties. Like a trail of breadcrumbs, the quality and quantity of Res improves toward the location of the dark entity. Following the destruction of the entity, Res has been on a steady decline. The trade cost of Res has grown exponentially. Despite its cost and dwindling availability, Res remains the primary means of interstellar travel. Alert! The mothership could be improved by adding more core modules. I'm just saying.
not accepting new applicants at this time. In space, only I can hear you scream.
Disengaging. Disengaging. Engaging. Game saved. Cargo acquired. Dragon mode activated.
By the endless void in a chicken basket! Look how the infection has replicated itself on inanimate material like that. I am going to disable the ship's weapon system so you, trigger-tickling simpletons, do not obliterate this precious sample opportunity for me.
Carl, I'm going to rip your tin head clean off. Turn the weapons back on this instant, or so help me, I will kill you twice over.
What kind of buffoon do you take me for? These samples are totally dormant, even with all this nearby transport traffic. As much as I despise concurring with Admiral Patches, he does have a point. The Dark Puppeteer has been long since destroyed. There is less than absolute zero risk to the ship. Now please, lay in a course next to the infected asteroid so I can perform a battery of scans.
Fuck me right in the aft. I am so sick and tired of being chronically correct. Carl! Weapons! Now!
This makes anti-sense. It is reacting to our presence somehow, despite being absent of any neurological activity. A dozen ships have passed through this region. How do we differ? There must be some sort of catalyst for this reaction.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Weapon access code accepted.
Not even an idiot would put that password on his luggage. Thankfully, Carl, you are a rare breed of idiot. Elsa, we are weapons-free. Transferring power, acquiring targets now.
I want everything within a parsec of here to be rendered to dust. Destroy anything that moves. Use the ship itself if you have to.
Engaging.
Carl, do you even have the slightest clue of the privilege I have bestowed upon you, allowing you to exist aboard my ship, under my order? If only I didn't need someone that knew anything about the infection. Oh, what is the point? I guess this is all my fault for letting you off the leash. You know, I really was starting to think we were finally past all this apocalyptic insanity. Why now? After years of no contamination, why here? Why ever so perfectly orchestrated for our arrival? This just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, maybe not the best place to have a conversation. Let's be sure we only make one mistake here today. Helm, take us out of here!
Judging by the expression on your faces, it would appear I'm about to be the recipient of some violence. It should be noted, however, that this may all be an emotional overreaction to a threat now nullified by the ship's ordnance. That may very well have been the last we see of the infection. It is expected we would find some lingering residue eventually.
Residue? So what now? Just forget it all happened? Sure, I was wrong, thinking the infection was over with, but now we know otherwise. That fault is on me, my bad, but are we supposed to forget that you castrated the ship to satisfy your own interest? Carl, you have an admiration for this filth, and I'd say the thing feels the same way about you. Why else did it react the way it did? For all we know, you've been corrupted already. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You are a liability, and you are gonna get us all killed.
That's enough. Ambient babysitting is one thing, but I won't have you all disemboweling each other at a time like this. Get along. That's an order. Carl, you have your samples. I want to know what we're dealing with. Find me some answers. Jameson, I need you to start prepping the mothership for war.
If it took us this long to find an infection candidate, how long do you think it'll take us to find the next one? We just don't have the manpower to scrub the galaxy clean of infection. Elsa, if we really want to make some progress, we need some allies we can delegate to.
Great. I know where this is going. I was hoping we could steer clear of this childish faction feud. One UTA was bad enough. Now we have half a dozen sides to this bloody war, not including our sticky problem.
I'm not one to get involved in politics either, but our backs are up against the hull. We're gonna have to pick a side and play nice for the time being. Weeb hacking for leads is no way to fight a war.
Game saved. Added to cargo hold. Area exhausted. Added to cargo hold. Battle wagon mode activated. Engaging. Target locked. Obliterated. Engaging. Obliterated. Obliterating. Engaging. Engaging. Relay point designated. Extracted. Resource acquired.
How can I be of assistance?
Yeah, man, come on in. Let me get your coffee. Hey, what chicken?
Howdy. Nice, thank you. Howdy. Uh-huh. Nice, thank you. How can I help you?
wagon mode activated. Target locked. Obliterating. Saved.
I have overheard a few crew members referring to these scientific breakthroughs as level ups. I believe there is already a level up bench in the exercise room. Please
Battle wagon mode activated. Shields offline. Game saved. Battle wagon mode